What's up, everybody? This is your girl Danielle, and I'm here with my girls, Kiana,
Hey y'all.
the beautiful Miss Nima Ali.
Hey
Hey.
girl, hey.
And on today's episode, we want to talk about emotional intelligence and why we feel it's important.
Yes. Oh my God.
So
So
previously,
before
right before we started recording, me and Kiana was having a conversation, and I told her like I'm at the point now where I acknowledge like I haven't dealt with certain things previously. And because I haven't dealt with those things as far as it relates to my emotions and therapy, whether it's dealing with grief, whether it's dealing with loss, whether it's dealing with trauma or whatever, like I didn't know that certain things were a trigger for me. And I'm now at the point where I'm able to kind of identify that certain because of my reaction that certain things are a trigger, and it's really dealing with me. It's not about what the person said or not about whatever. It's just unresolved issues that I have, and I think that all plays a part in dealing with emotional intelligence and being an emotional intelligent being. And I think so often I feel like, especially within our community, like these are the conversations that we don't talk about, and these are the things that we don't talk about, and these are some of
Absolutely.
the feelings that we don't identify. Like there's 1,001 feelings outside of just being sad and angry. Sometimes I'm anxious, sometimes it's anxiety, sometimes I'm overwhelmed, and I think we're just not able, because we don't have that level of emotional intelligence, we're not often able to identify.
Absolutely. Yes, that was a good conversation, you guys. I missed that
listen,
table talk. What?
it resonates so much, but I just want to say first and foremost, before we even get into our episode for tonight, I thought it was real important for Danielle to even share this, or Danielle and I to continue this conversation on live, because I know it'll be so beneficial to so many of you all. And like I said, first and foremost, I want to thank you. I want to thank you both. So not only do I want to thank you both because
Take your time.
when we came together and we came up with a safe space, not knowing how many of us were going to actually need a safe space to go to. Since connecting with you both, I appreciate you guys because you both see me for who I am, and is really no judgment when it comes to us, and we all keep it real and raw with each other. I absolutely love that. I love that so much, that we can be our authentic selves with each other and
Mm.
not feel, by us being ourselves, like we're going to look down on each other or chastise each other or anything like that. Because I found in some of my past relationships, like some people are just very combative. I had a situation. I didn't know all the trials and tribulations that I've gone through in life. God was actually preparing me for a time such as this. Because what I'm going through right now, had I had gone through a little while ago, y'all, I think it would have took me out.
Right.
Yeah, it would have took me clean out. And I'm learning that people process things and they deal with things in different ways, and I'm learning that what may be traumatic or really important to me is not on the top of everyone else's list. And then I'm also learning not to react so much. But in the midst of not reacting, now it seems like I'm shut down, or I'm not concerned or as involved or any of those things. And that's not the case. I just know that I have to guard my mental space, and not only my mental space, my health, with everything I have left in me. Because man, when I tell you I've been through some things here lately, it's been heavy. It's been so heavy. And I had a good girlfriend. One called me earlier this morning. She was like, "Why haven't you checked on your friend?" I said, first and foremost, why haven't we checked on one another?
That
Because
part.
not only were you going through things,
I'm going.
girl, your friend has been going through some major life.
Period. Period.
But I can't really fault her. You know why? Because I didn't share it with her or anyone else.
Right.
You know what I mean? So how did they know I was going through things? But I'm saying that to say a lot of times when we always say on your strong friends, like we really have to do better with checking on each other because a lot of us are suffering silently,
Mm-hmm.
because of the shame, because of the guilt, because of the what have you. So I met with we call a sister healing circle. We had our first meeting last night. And I want to thank those young ladies and I want to thank you both from the bottom of my heart because I don't think you all realize every time we get together, you help put my pieces back together.
Mm.
And y'all help heal me more and more and more. And I'm ever so grateful for it all. And I know I said a lot, and I'm sorry,
No, don't be.
but I had to get that out. And it ties into what Danielle and I were talking about before we started. Like, I need counseling, y'all. I need therapy so bad because sometimes we think we are so strong or we think we are so healed. And man, there are triggers. There's so many triggers out there. I also realized too when we are a vessel and we're strong and we're on the right path, it's going to be a lot of distractions and a lot of things, a lot of trials and tribulations thrown our way to trip us up. So I'm happy for all my strong sisters I can fall on to, I can lean on, I can cry with. I can say what I want to say what I need to say, and y'all give it to me straight, no chasers. I love each of you from the bottom of my heart, but I need
Uh-huh.
therapy, y'all. So we're going to do this together because we do heal better
Absolutely.
together.
We do. We heal better together, period. Without each other, it's not fun to go through none of what we go through to grow through
Grow
alone.
through.
We got to grow through it, but we got to have one another to be able to do it. And it ain't for everybody.
Lord,
No,
no.
It ain't for everybody.
no, because there's some
You
people
know,
that you just cannot share certain things with or
And
be
you want to,
vulnerable.
so bad. You want to so bad, but they're not a safe space.
and I don't want to with those people so bad. Honestly, I've learned how to separate and love and care for people. But when I finally started realizing that I'm a lot of people's safe space, but I don't have my own safe space.
Mm. Mm.
It became very real for me, and having gone from a high position to being at the lowest place. And I remember being at a place where I used to be like, it can't get no worse than this. It got worse. And it got worse. And it got worser, as they say. When people be laughing about people using the word worser, it got horrible, And when your mind is playing so many different games with you, or you don't really think about or really know what PTSD really is, I I mean, you know what it is, but you don't know what it is until you're experiencing it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so with those triggers, that's a part of PTSD. You understand? It's things that trigger you to react a certain way because of what you have gone through, which is that post traumatic stress. You know what I'm saying? And we have to know how to recognize and how to maneuver. As much as we love someone, are they triggering that side of you? And if they are triggering that side of you, then having that strength to be like, man, I love you to pieces, but I gotta step off. You don't have to tell them that unless it get to a point where you have to have that conversation, and you could try to do it as nice as you can, but it sometimes just doesn't work out no matter what you say, because then they become a victim. They
Right.
don't even realize, and to be honest with you, we're dealing with more narcissistic people than what we really even understand. And narcissists don't do anything but gaslight and always point the finger back at you. So you're beating a kind of a dead horse, because until they're able to see themselves they won't even understand what you're talking about because then they become a victim. And what you have going on doesn't even matter. And they don't even acknowledge it because then they just go back to you. I did da 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 da. But you aren't hearing what I'm telling you because they also don't have emotional intelligence. You understand? And emotional intelligence is really the biggest part of it is the acknowledgement of the things that make you react a certain type of way.
Absolutely,
That's
absolutely.
what it's all about. I just got to a place because I'm relearning. I didn't know certain things. You know, I just had somebody kirk out on me because I text, you need to do something. But if I'm talking to my friend, I'm not over here like, you need to do from a negative perspective. I just was like, sis, you need to do a video so that it can do and then get in front of and explain da 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 da. It was as simple as that, but it triggered her to kirk out on me because I used the word need.
You need. No, you and need.
You and need was
Hmm.
and I can't even say we done came back from that. And I was like, what? But if you're my friend and you know my heart and you know I'm relearning, but we don't stop and think about that part, then all that really wanted was just to say, hey, Nima, like, you could have said it a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't have to really bang on me or you really like acting like I'm a villain because I used the word need. Bruh, that's you need some emotional intelligence with that because my heart was pure and we're working together on something. So why would you think that I'm coming at you? I'm not. I don't have a reason to. And I apologized for using the word need and said, well, I suggest, you know what I'm saying? But it's a communication. Let me know. I'm not here to hurt or harm you for what? It's not benefiting to me. And we're working on a project together. So if you trusted me to be on this project with you, then you should trust to know that I just was quickly using the word like, sis, you need to just do this. Like, people say that to me all the time. I don't be taking it offense. Like, you telling me what I need to do. Like, nah, bro, I don't got time to think like that. If I trust you and you said it, I don't even look at the word need as a negative. You know what I mean? So we all have a different way of thinking. But at the end of
And
the day, if we
communicating.
communicate and your perception is very well your reality. And I take that into full perspective. So for me, I'm showing up to let you know if I say something wrong, just let me know. Because guess what? Don't wake up on the wrong side of the bed. And I don't wake up trying to figure out how I'm going to hurt nobody. Period. I'm waking up to figure out how I can help myself. And I put my feet on the ground and say, Lord, let me be a blessing to someone else throughout my day. So while you over here in the woe is me place, I'm over here trying to heal from being woe
With
is me because I don't have time for that. You know what I'm saying? I need to be at my fullest potential to be able to reach the masses to get us to understand that healing is through our ancestors and for our ancestors because they've already gone through a lot. So, how are we breaking the generational curses of how we think?
So, what about? I would like to submit this to you. So, what about thinking about it from a space of your heart is pure and your perspective may have been pure, but maybe her lenses is they're distorted. So meaning whatever she is going through, she's
Mhm.
going to convey whatever you're saying from a
Absolutely.
place
Right.
of yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was
So
saying.
Negative
but
in a
so
negative light.
right.
Yes,
And being emotional intelligent, you know, like what we're talking about right now is being at a space where we can have adult conversations like, hey baby, I didn't mean anything by that. I really didn't. I was just suggesting, you know, I apologize for using that word. Now
exactly.
if she doesn't receive it, she's still not in the place to receive it because she still needs to do the work. You know what I
She
mean?
still need to do the work for sure, but that's not my place to
No,
judge
nope,
her on the work that
nope,
she needs to do.
nope, nope, nope.
It's not my place to, at this point, even to suggest the work that you need to do, because until one admits their own space in
Absolutely.
what they need, it doesn't matter what I'm going to tell you. But what I did do was apologize, because I mean, I was thrown off. Like, huh?
Wasn't
What are you talking about? You know?
Let your heart be content with that for now. Sit
Yeah,
with that for
and that's
now.
where I was at. I was like, I know facts. Like, all I can do is say, "Boo, I'm sorry. Let me suggest it. Let me change the way I said it." And go from there. That's it. And but it also speaks to trust, because when you trust someone and you trust that they're advising you or giving you their opinion or whatever it is that you guys where you are, when you have that trust and your relationship is pure hearted, then guess what? Those things also don't happen.
can I say something and can I interject? I mean, I think it's kind of easy to say that, but one thing for me, what I'm learning is that as far as things, I don't want to be a victim to me. So for me, emotional intelligence is no longer being a victim to those things that
Absolutely.
trigger me. So it's like acknowledging and me doing the work for the things that may be a trigger for me or maybe an issue or problematic or cause problematic within the dynamics between me and another person, right? Those are the things
Mm-hmm.
I feel like emotional intelligence is starts with me identifying those things and trying to work on those.
Yes, work
But
on
also just as being a human being, right? A lot of times we interpret things from whatever space that we're in currently,
them. Mm-hmm.
right? So meaning that if we're I mean we just do it all the time with even the way we interact with people, even sometimes the way we interact with our children, sometimes the way if if I'm in a bad headspace or somebody can say something to me and I might get a little snappy or I might get a little whatever because I'm just not in a you understand what I'm saying? I got so many other outside factors and I'm trying to filter. Now emotionally I'm trying to filter those things in. I'm trying to compartmentalize those things and trying to identify what it is that I'm feeling, what it is that I'm going through. How do I process this? How do I handle this? That I can then internalize what somebody's saying as being malice and it wasn't totally malice or their intention wasn't totally malice at all, but because what is relative to me is my reality and my reality is I'm in a messed up headspace or emotionally I'm just all over the place. So that's how I'm going to internalize it. So I think for me, right, as far as emotional intelligence, it's not just me being able to manage my own emotions, right, as a person, but it's also being able to effectively respond to the emotion of other people.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like that plays a big part in it too. And it's just like I had a conversation with Kiana. I said, I've come to the realization that, and it took me a minute to get here, although don't get me wrong. I'm a lifelong learner. I love learning. I went to school to advance myself in my career and do different things, but it's been a crutch for me. It's been a crutch for me so I can focus on this so I don't have to focus on this. So whatever I'm feeling
Mm.
with this, I don't gotta focus on that because my attention is here. This is the focal point. All of this up in here that's in my chest, I don't gotta focus on that. I can just tuck this down somewhere, but not knowing that, girl, if you don't deal with this shit, this is gonna resurface and it's gonna resurface in other ways. So
Boom.
whether it be the way you interact with people, the way you handle things, or the way you represent yourself or present yourself in certain situations, it's gonna manifest itself. So baby girl, you either need to
Period.
deal with it now because if you
Or
deal with it on the
later.
back end later, it could be whether it's detrimental to your health, meaning your
Absolutely.
physical health, your
Absolutely.
emotional health, your
Absolutely.
emotional well-being.
Your
Like
mental
it's gonna
health.
present itself in so many ways. And I think now, even as a society, we're a society of this. We'll do this first. We'll text a person first. Text has no tone. So
No time.
if I'm feeling messed up, if I'm already in a headspace, when I'm reading this like this.
Yes.
What you mean? What you saying? What they mean? You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because that's where I'm at. That's the zone. That's the temperament. That's where I'm at. Versus if I'm calm, if I'm whatever, and I'm reading this, I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Well,
Right.
you understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I feel like
Exactly.
a lot of times it's because of this is what can cause
That.
right. Of course, whereas if we pick up the phone and we do more of this, hey, listen,
Yeah.
I got your text. I'm not really sure. Let me make sure I'm comprehending what you're saying, or let me
Hello.
I'm understanding what you mean, or let me make sure like I'm getting the gist of what you were trying to say, because this is how you making me feel. Like, and I think a lot of times although I think what people don't understand, and even with me, sometimes I had to learn this. Although the the way I do things, or the way I handle things, or the way I interact or present things to certain people may have no malice behind it, that doesn't mean that that's how they have to internalize it, because they're
Absolutely.
internalizing it based off of their traumas, based off of their
Yeah.
perspective, based off of their history. And my history, your life, the path that you walked and the life I live is not identical. So certain things that's relative to
Absolutely.
you is never going to be relative to me, and vice versa.
That part.
So I think a lot of times, especially lately, I've been spending, I think, too much time focusing on trying to be understood, right?
Mm.
Getting people to, this is my meaning for saying this. And I have to just sometimes be okay with the fact that some people will never understand where I'm coming from. Or some people will never understand what it is that I mean by certain, because they didn't live my life.
Hmm.
They don't get the prior knowledge that comes with this, or that, you
Yes.
understand what I'm saying, those things that I've dealt with, why I see things this way, because they didn't deal with that. That's not relative to
Right.
them. That's not important to them,
Absolutely.
or that's not a focal point for them, because they, so I can't
Hmm.
expect, I gotta, with not always being understood, or
Right.
somebody, comprehending, like, no, there's no malice behind this. And I think for me lately, that has been a thing. Like, no, I just want you to hear me. Like, I want to be heard. I want you to understand me. Or I want you to acknowledge, like, this is how I'm feeling, or this is what I feel. And it's like, I had to come to the realization, like, girl, like, you ain't even acknowledging how you feel a lot of times. So how do you expect
That part.
somebody
You
else?
expect someone else.
Yeah. So how do you expect
But
somebody?
that's the key.
You
You
can't even
don't
say
know.
you can't even say and say you this, or say you that, or say you whatever. And like I told y'all, like these last couple of years, like I've been just like a pure waterhead, like crying and any little thing. No, that's not what I meant. Like I do taking. Whereas before, if you would have caught me 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that wasn't me. Even like when I went to see my uncle this weekend, like my uncle was like, "Oh, you so strong, you so tough, you so this," and I'm like, "No, like I'm not that girl anymore. Like I used to be that, but now any little thing, especially if it's somebody who I love or who I care for, if they feel like I'm coming at them the wrong way, or they perceive, I break. It's a
You be breaking
waterfall.
down crying.
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
war here. Like, so I think like emotional
Same.
intelligence is a transformative. It definitely is something that's transformative as it relates to yourself, but it's also, it allows you to have empathy when it comes to dealing with other people.
But Danielle, you also have to first be aware.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. And I will truly say until you are aware, you don't know how to handle it. And what everybody is saying is foreign to you because you aren't aware. And I can say that for myself. I've had people that used to be like,
Mm.
your tone. I speak aggressive. I'm straightforward.
That
But at the end of the day, it took me until I was in my 40s to understand what people were talking about. I didn't even understand what people were talking about because I didn't know I had something going on inside of me. I didn't know that I wasn't being 100% honest about my emotions. I didn't know. And I was so used to Debbie down in my feelings.
right.
I'm under the rug to appease everybody else my whole entire life. I never knew that it was that when the pressure bust pipe, that's when I be like boop 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 boop. You know what I'm saying? And it come across harsh. It come across, where people don't receive it. It come across combative, in how I've handled something because I done popped off. And I mean, I would truly say I used to curse like a sailor.
Girl, me and
The girl loves to use certain words, honey, especially the FUCK and the MF and who the F and what the F and dot 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 dot. So first, Spirit had me stop cursing. Now, when I was cursing, I could understand that one could feel a certain type of way because, baby, I knew how to use them curse words, honey. You had a, you might have had a bark and a bite, but mine was bigger. Okay? So I could understand. But then once I stopped cursing, and now I'm having more, I'm walking in the empath side of me, and I'm so empathetic, and I'm so, just wanting everyone to be so loving. I didn't even realize that I was also wanting people to receive me at this point because now I've changed.
right,
Now I'm not cursing. So that's when I got to the realization that it really wasn't just about me cursing and what I said. It really was about how I was saying things because now I wasn't cursing anymore. And now I'm still having an experience where people got something to say about how I said something. I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't mean it like that. And when you done said something to me, I ain't looking at you like that. But see, my skin is like that. I don't judge people. I don't sit back and point fingers. I raised my dad in a mental institute. So I've learned to accept everybody and to a fault with it as well, because some people I should have spoke up to say, you made me feel a certain way because you said XYZ versus me just responding out of emotional intelligence.
right.
You don't know though until you know. And what I want to say now is I'm grateful that the people that stepped off the way that they did because of how I said something or what I said, because you weren't for me anyway. Because anyone that is
Absolutely.
for you, they're going to correct you in love. Especially if you think you better than me. If you think you better than me and that you saying stuff better than me and you doing stuff better than me, then you're supposed to correct me in love. The correction can definitely be given. I'm all for
Right.
it. Correct me, boo. I want to be, because I want to walk in my best self. So if you say you
Hmm.
love me, I don't need you to go talk to such and such and such about it.
Everybody else
Talk
about
to
me.
me. Talk to me.
Uh-huh.
Because that's how it's going to
Absolutely.
help me. Because then once you go talk to somebody else, and then they going to come back and tell me. Because no matter what, boo, they going to come back and tell you, honey. Because the people love to sell. Then we're gonna have a bigger problem. And then you're gonna be looking crazy because what I'm gonna do is confront you because I don't need to go back and forth and go. I'm going straight to the horse. You said X, Y, and Z, and what? Let's have a conversation about it, because that's a
Yeah.
grown thing to do. You know what I mean? So we have to first be aware, and we have to take assessments with ourselves when we're feeling a certain type of way, when we have
Hmm.
anxiousness and we're around certain people, or if we feel like we got to be standoffish when we're around certain people, or we feel like, well, I don't want to really say too much, when you around certain people, then we need to do an assessment
Right.
within
Absolutely.
ourselves and to find out why, so that we can have that emotional intelligence to be able to then handle it the way that we need to handle it. You know what I mean? And for me, when it went further with the young lady, we was doing business, and when I get down to it, I'm looking at it and I've now learned you don't value me and you don't respect me. And that's why when I said you need to do something, it came across that way, because you didn't respect me in the beginning.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So one more thing I would like to close with. Like Danielle and I were discussing earlier, like how she drowned herself in education. That was like her crutch. Mine is working.
That's me.
It's always been working. Always had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 jobs. Always. Never knew why. So I never realized like it was a crutch for me to not actually deal with all the things and feel all the feelings that I needed to feel. So on this journey right here of learning emotional intelligence, one of the things that I am working on is learning how to, because like my great beautiful pod sisters, we give it to y'all straight, no chases. Everybody can't digest that.
Yeah.
So I'm learning, I want to be able to convey what I'm trying to say in a way that's receivable to the person I'm conveying it to.
Hmm.
So that's one thing that I am working on now, because before I'll be like, I don't care, like whatever. I'm gonna say what I want to say, how I want to say it, when I want to say it.
Exactly.
Like if you don't like it, then whatever. But I'm gonna get this off my chest. I'm gonna say, but that's not benefiting
Yeah.
you nor I. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Because you're not receiving what I'm trying to
And
convey to
the message is getting lost in that delivery.
in the right in the delivery.
Exactly.
So I'm learning how to deliver in a different manner.
Yes. And that's good. And Kiana, let me ask you, do you find that the working the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 jobs, did it start young, or do you feel that it started now that you're aware, when did that start for you? Because what I also realized with myself, because I'm the same way, um I started young with working. I started young as probably 8, 9 years old, with distracting myself from things that I didn't understand or things that was painful for me. Like the separation of moving from DC to North Carolina. I used to love to be at the neighbors' houses versus in my own house. I didn't realize that until now. And helping them with cleaning up and helping them. And I used to make money from it, helping them with their laundry, helping them with their dishes, helping them with whatever. And yes, I made money from it, but it also, I now realize, was a distraction because I wasn't happy in the fact that I just had to leave DC and go to North Carolina to be leaving my dad and now be my mom, because I didn't have an understanding. So the work always was what my life was about. Work, 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 work. And it started as young as 8 years old for me.
It did definitely started young, and I'm the more aware the older I've gotten. It probably stemmed from me never actually dealing with losing my mother, because I
Mm,
lost her when I was 5. So I don't know how
yeah,
to any
Project.
of that.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
so I think for me is I always had like abandonment issues
I
and
had,
like trust
yeah,
issues,
yes,
and so no one will abandon me. Let me
work. Let me pay my way through work. That was
so
me.
I won't ever have to depend
No,
on anyone
nobody.
Yes.
to allow them to be able to abandon me.
Exactly. And but it also was looking for the validation that if you're working and you're that good girl, someone's gonna stay around and they're also gonna love you and they're gonna see you, and want you to come more, 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 and they're gonna be there for you also. So yeah, I get it.
It was the opposite. Like working, like it became like a competition thing almost. You know what I mean? Like you work all the time, you da da da. Because I don't want to have to depend on nobody. Because I just feel like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have anyone I could wholeheartedly depend on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I definitely can relate to. I definitely can understand. Hence the reason why, like I said, for me, school has been my crutch. That has been my bargaining tool. Well, let me get this, let me get that. If I have this, then I can make this. Then it
Mm-hmm.
keeps me here, and I'm able to maintain. I'm able to manage, and because I learned a long time ago, nobody's coming to save me. Like I
Yeah.
definitely have to
Mm-mm.
myself. That was a lesson that was learned, early on for me. But as I said, it's just looking back and looking over my life. And I'm looking like at the times that I went to school, this has always been a time around where somebody died, somebody was sick, something had, something traumatic happened. And that has been my focus. I can even remember like getting my last master's degree in 2018 when my grandmother died. And like people were looking like, oh, so you're going to take time off from school? And I'm like, what? No. Take time off from school. I'm not taking no time off from school. No, I gotta finish this. Like my grandmother wouldn't want me to take time off from school. She wouldn't want me to whatever. But here's the thing: the crazy thing is, I've never been to. Although I have several degrees, I never even really go to my graduations. Believe it or not, I don't go. The last graduation I went to was my bachelor for my bachelor's degree, and that's because me and my cousin graduated together. Other than that, I don't go to the ceremonies. Send me my degree in the mail. Send me what, and for me, it's like, okay, outside of my children, my mother's not going to be in the audience. Her mother's not going to,
Mm.
what am I? Like, so for me, I feel like I have to learn how to start celebrating myself.
Absolutely.
To a certain
And you got people
extent.
Yes,
like us
ma'am.
now that love you because when that graduation roll around here, we gonna be in the
Okay.
building.
But guess what, Nima? Let me tell you the funny thing about this all. I met Danielle in 20.
Mhm.
Do you know to this day, we are like this? We have yet to meet each other in person. In person.
We've never, we've
Never.
never, we've never seen each other in person. It's always been a FaceTime,
Never.
a phone call, or whatever. We've never seen each other in person. And during that time, 2020, it was what, during COVID, and we was getting that money.
We was getting that money
We was getting that
like
money loans.
Birdman.
You know what I'm saying? At every time. That's how we like connected with each other.
Look at
Never seen it.
God.
Never
Y'all hear
laid
that?
eyes on each other in
You
real
guys,
life.
you hear that? And y'all be out here acting like friends gotta be this, that, the
You
third, the
right.
fourth. Let me tell y'all something right now. Did y'all just hear that? They never even met. And I always like to tell them, y'all, I'm the new baby in the bunch. So I'm
But the
trying not
same
to,
thing with Nemo when I
that's
met or was
crazy.
introduced to you through Glam or first. I was like, I love her. Like I
I
like
love her
her.
energy. It's
And
something about her.
right. And it was no shade. It was no shade to anybody else or whatever. But I was like, her energy, like I like her energy. Like she's just always like, I don't care what the situation is, it's just always a bubbly, like, hey
Yep.
y'all, so what we
Hey,
doing? Or what, it's just
We
that
connected.
yes.
We connected.
But I loved how you guys were 100. You know what I mean? Like I need 100 around me at all
Promise.
times. Like I
That's
don't
what I
I
need in my
don't
life.
need nothing other than 100.
right.
I don't care how you look. I don't care what you got. I don't care what you do. I don't care about none of that surface stuff. I care about when we peel the onion back. Who
Absolutely.
are you?
Right.
And you guys were 100. Like Danielle and her energy was off the break. Like this is what it is and this is what it's going to be or not. And at first I was kind of like, well, I mean, but I like that about her. And then Kiana was you were very like, the love bug, like the sisterhood, the let's get it, let's go. And then the fact that you're also on the entrepreneur side, and I can just be like, I'm going through this and I don't understand. It's like it was a balance there that it was just kind of like, we just need to talk amongst ourselves, just period. Like, and once we started talking amongst ourselves, it just worked and it clicked. You know what I mean? And it's
And it
like,
flowed
three brown
organically.
girls that's ready to get it and let's go. You know what I
Nothing was
mean?
forced.
And none of us had any hiccups or hangups about each other. And it's not about being seen. It's really just about creating a safe space for the people as well as for
Absolutely.
ourselves. Because honestly, we are each other.
And to let people know
Absolutely.
they're not alone in what they're going
You're
through.
You
not
are
alone.
not
Some of these
alone.
same
Yes.
some of these same walks and some of these same feelings, like we're human beings. Like we're here, we're having a human experience. Life be life and for us,
Life be life.
just like it life's for everybody else. You understand? And
Yes.
sometimes we have the bandwidth to handle it, and sometimes we don't. But I want to say this before we close out everything. I do, which is, I feel like it's just now becoming a focal point in our community and now becoming more acceptable. Counseling.
Mhm.
Like, I do
Yes.
encourage everybody to
Detrimental.
just get counseling, especially living in a world today. This is like a high stake environment, like that we're living in, because there's stuff coming at us from every angle, and learning how to recognize certain things, how to manage certain things, how to take ownership of certain things, and how to
The
become
ownership. Yes.
aware of certain things creates and fosters a sense of accountability.
Yes.
And I think once you have that, once you can identify and understand yourself and know who you are as a person, then it makes it so easy for you to be open and empathetic to everybody else.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm
Do you guys have any
And when we not put
like
on that
closing
facade
words?
to act like we got it all together, that's the other
No,
thing.
we don't.
Absolutely not.
We don't. Do you ladies have any closing words that you would like to say?
My words are just like Kiona. I thank you both, and I'm excited for what God is doing. I'm excited for where He's taking us.
Mm.
I always wake up and say, even if we just help one person, that's all that matters. We're not here for likes. We're not here for followers that, on a pretentious scale. We are really here together to create a safe space for everyone that wants to be a part of it. And I want to say thank you both for your time, for your attention, for your advice, for your stories, all of that, because every last one of us need it, as well as the world needs it. So I want to say thank you.
Well, I want to thank you, ladies, and I love you both.
I love you both too. And I thank God for y'all. Like,
Yeah.
that's the best.
So
I
we
just
want
say peace, love, and happy healing.
exactly. And we want to thank you guys for joining us on a safe space conversation. And we want you to click like and subscribe. And also let us know how you handle things. What are some things that you
Yeah.
use to identify situations or you use as your tool in your toolkit? I like to call it
Yeah.
your toolkit as far
Yes.
to emotional intelligence and
Uh-huh.
handle certain situations. So leave us a comment below. Also,
Yes.
leave us some comments on some topics you want to talk about. Leave us some comments
Yes.
if you would like to join us on a topic.
Yes.
We are here and we
Absolutely.
are open, and we want to thank you for taking the time to join us on a safe space.
Yes.